every step to assure that the proper law enforcement measures are being carried out in this case. I would also like to extend my prayers for strength in this trying time to the family members of the suspects that have been cast into the focus of this tragic event. On the matter of some housekeeping issues during this conference, there are certain topics which will not be discussed in the conference today. We'd appreciate any questions from the media outlets today in attendance, that they reserve any questions after the delivery till the end of the delivery when we're finished speaking on this matter, and we will provide times for questions from the media pertaining to this. Also, in addition, there are topics that this panel will not answer as to the specific manner of death that the victim has succumbed to, specific questions to the description of the initial crime scene itself, evidence collected from multiple scenes, or witness information or person spoken to in this investigation, and prior law enforcement and court contact that has involved the suspects. They will not be discussed. I would like to introduce myself and the person next to me. Beginning with me, my name is Charles R. Headley. Last name spelling is H-E-A-D-L-E-Y. I am the Chief of Police for the City of Bowman. I've served in this capacity since June of 2008. And I've also served a culmination of 35 years in law enforcement, both here as an officer in North Dakota and Nebraska. I've also received training both in Nebraska and North Dakota and the FBI National Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Next to me to my right is the Bowman City Commission President, Lynn James, who will be addressing a perspective on how this event has occurred in our community and how such an event like this plays out with our community and how it affects us. Also with us in the back of the room is Bowman County State's Attorney Stephanie Pretzer. State's Attorney Pretzer will not be delivering any statement today, but her presence here today is a resource for us during the any questions that may be posed to us to ensure the integrity of this case. And she, just as I said, the delivery of the statement today as far as the case, but being that she is going to be one of the prosecutors, she has declined of making any statement due to her role. So I will begin with a brief synopsis as far as what had transpired on Saturday. Saturday being August 20th of this year, shortly after 12 noon, a call was placed from the El-Vu Motel located at 409 Highway 85 South to the Bismarck 911 Center. This report called into the 911 Center came from the staff of the El-Vu Motel that they discovered a male subject found laying on the floor of room number 25 and described the scene as there being blood on the individual and around the individual. The Bowman ambulance was soon paged out, in addition to a Bowman police officer to respond to that call due to its nature. The Bowman ambulance was the first to arrive on the scene, and they then entered the room to check on the condition of the male subject that was reported on. It was determined by the ambulance crew that the male subject was deceased, and soon after, police services arrived on the scene, and it was reported to them by the ambulance service that the male individual was deceased. Law enforcement, upon looking into the room from the doorway and seeing the condition of the male subject and the condition of the room of this unattended death, deemed this to be suspicious in nature, and then called for additional officers to respond in addition to the requested services of the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation and their technical support units of the crime scene investigators at their hand. Also, in addition, the Bowman State's Attorney was contacted soon thereafter and was informed of the situation at hand and what had been discovered, and it was asked of her to make herself available in the event her services would be needed in this investigation. Once that was performed, officers at the scene created a crime scene by putting up a barrier that extended into the parking lot of this motel, and there we awaited for the arrival of the Bureau of Criminal Investigation agents. We also been in contact with the management and started establishing residents who were staying at the motel and taking into account to find out who was currently staying at the motel, in addition as to who room number 25 belonged to. Upon the arrival of BCI agents and through the state's attorney's office, a search warrant was obtained for that room, being that the persons cohabitating or living in that room were not present to give officers consent. So, once a search warrant was obtained, and also into this investigation, agents arrived from Bismarck in the eastern part of the state, and efforts were being made by speaking with potential witnesses and other motel guests and the staff, and inquire as to the whereabouts of the individuals in which the room belonged to. The room was found to be belonging to employees of that motel and being utilized by those employees living and working at the motel. Through investigative techniques, we then shift our focus to locate the two individuals who that room belonged to, who their whereabouts were unknown. And into that investigation, it was then learned early that their whereabouts were found, that they had stopped in Cheyenne, Wyoming. In addition, those individuals were identified as being in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and there was one additional male that was with them. We then solicited the assistance of the investigative services of the Cheyenne Police Department, who were called upon to assist us to more or less check on a location that they had stopped. And essentially, it was also learned that the two employees that this room belonged to were the following individuals: Madison Beth West, age 26, Chase D. Swanson, age 21, and it was also learned that the third male that was with them that had been seen in Cheyenne, Wyoming, was a guest of the motel, who was later identified as Todd A. Pashano, age 28. As again, I said, he was a guest at that motel. Investigators and officers then received tips throughout the afternoon and into the early evening that the mentioned persons that I just mentioned right now were at a location in Denver, Colorado, leaving the Cheyenne, Wyoming area earlier that afternoon. It was also learned that they were traveling in a North Dakota plated pickup truck. This information was provided to the Denver Police Department, and essentially they located the pickup and those three individuals of interest that we were looking for. I was also at that time learned that the pickup that they were traveling in belonged to our victim, who was identified in the room as being Nicholas L. Johnson of Rame, North Dakota. Subsequently, once they were detained and picked up in Denver, arrest warrants were issued and sent to Denver, and a hold was placed on the three subjects that are currently in a correctional facility in Denver. This investigation continues, which includes the search of the victim's vehicle that was recovered in Denver by BCI agents, in addition to evidence being collected in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is being done to more or less continue on the investigation from the crime scene that originally began here in Bowman, North Dakota at the motel. Yesterday, an autopsy was conducted on Mr. Johnson, and the cause of death was ruled as a homicide. The matter of the cause of death will not be discussed in this conference. And at this time, I would like to bring forth City Commission President Lynn James. She has a brief statement to deliver.
Good afternoon. A violent tragedy has occurred in our community. It's tempting to speculate upon the particulars and debate what could have been done differently to avoid this, and maybe even assess responsibility. But we don't know the facts yet. We don't know what happened for sure that night. And until we do, let us concentrate on what we do know. We have lost a young man, a friend, a neighbor, and a son from our community. For now, let's do what Bowman County does best and give comfort to those who are grieving, help those who need it most, and support those who are doing their best to address this tragedy. And I'd like to send my personal condolences as well to the Johnson family.
Just to follow up that I'm very confident, I am very pleased with the investigation thus far. It was through outstanding efforts, not only from our agency, but the fine work from our Bowman County State's Attorney, and trying to bring this case to some type of closure, and to essentially seek out that justice that is deserved to the family and to the victim. So at this time, I will take questions. I will also take questions, or Lynn will also take questions too. So if you please, when you just raise your hand up, call out which news service that you're from, and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability. Yes, Bryce from
Bryce Martin with the Bowman County Pioneer.
Thank you.
Do you just want one at a time? Because I actually have like a couple.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
If a hand goes up after your first one, then I'll have to.
Can you confirm if Todd Pashano was kidnapped at gunpoint by Chase and Madison?
Okay. I know tentatively there's been a lot of information coming in, and like I said, it's going to take some time. I know that investigators will still have to talk to him at this point in time, whether that's being done as of today or as of it already transpired yesterday. I don't have that information available to me at this point in time.
Have they been officially charged yet?
They have basically the warrants to hold them, but once they are basically brought back to North Dakota, they will then appear before the district court on the formal charges.
Mm-hmm. And one last question. Eyewitnesses reported that Nick Johnson had left Wendy's bar with Swanson and West Friday night. Can you confirm that?
I know that we have spoke with the members at the bar, and we can place them at the bar Friday evening, but at this point in time, that's all that I will confirm. Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Ray Strickland, KX News. Can you confirm this? I heard from a community member, of course it could possibly be gossip, but that the victim, Nicholas Johnson, was a broken bottle used to his murder, Johnson?
We're gonna get into an area as far as like weapons or tools. Really, I can't comment on that. For one, I was not directly in the crime scene. That was left to the crime the examiner. But I cannot confirm nor deny that. Any other questions?
I do have one.
Yes, please. For Lynn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lynn, you talked about how this will impact the community. Can you just explain a little bit more just how a small town can be affected by a murder that has, everyone in this small town is going to be affected because everyone knows someone. So just talk about that.
Well, anytime you come from a small community, somehow or another, like you said, we are connected. And so I truly feel that Bowman and the community of Bowman County is a very caring, deeply caring community. And so there are a lot of sad hearts, and we are here to support one another and support the Johnsons and also the families of the suspects. They too are affected, and they are part of our community. So we just need to all work together to try to get through this sad time.
And how do you move forward? Because like I think Chuck told me over the phone that this could be, no, it wasn't Chuck, it was Daryl actually, that this could be the first murder since the early 1990s. So this is obviously a unique situation for both. So how do you move forward?
It is a unique situation, but we move forward with our law enforcement and the professional people that will work through this and get to the bottom of it and come up with the facts. And then, like I said, as a unified community, we just work to support everyone that's been tragically affected.
And one for Chuck. When will the suspects be transferred to Bowman?
Currently, they have kind of a time frame. They have to be brought back here to North Dakota from Colorado no later than September 8th. We are still currently working on the particulars and the logistical matters as far as making arrangements for law enforcement to transport them from Denver back to North Dakota.
And they're being held where at this point?
I don't know if it has a specific name. All I know it's a correctional facility at this point in time in Denver. Yes,
Sharon Johnson.
Sharon Johnson from where?
KDCDC.
Okay.
Dickinson.
Dickinson?
Can you just confirm the spelling of the suspects and Nicholas?
You bet. I will begin first. Madison. Spelling first name Madison. Middle name Beth. Beth. Last name West, just like points on the compass. Age 26. The other Bowman male is Chase, Chase. Middle initial B. Swanson, Swanson. Age 21. Third individual, Todd A. Pashano. First name common spelling, middle initial A. Last name Pashano, Pashano. Age 28. And Mr. Johnson, Nicholas, Nicholas, middle initial L, last name Johnson, common spelling.
And Madison and Chase, they were employees of El-Vu Motel.
Correct. And additional information that may not have any bearing there, I believe they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Yes?
Kelsey with the Dickinson Press.
Okay.
Can you confirm that Madison Beth West has had a current criminal record with Bowman County?
Yeah. At the top of the announcement, I will not discuss any prior contact or any type of court contact with these individuals. Yes. Price.
Do you know the permanent address of the Todd Pashano?
I do know that he was residing here temporarily. He was part of a construction crew that was doing some road work. As far as I believe it was a Minnesota address. I don't know particularly as far as what town in Minnesota. I know that he has also an Arizona driver's license. So. Any other questions that you may have for myself or Commission President Lynn James? Okay. With that, I will go ahead and conclude and bring this conference to a close. I know that I appreciate everybody's respectfulness and professionalism in the room today. And I know that there will probably be further stories down the road as this case progresses and is being brought forth to district court here in Bowman. All right, and with that, thank you and have a pleasant day.